What's up, guys? Welcome back. My name is G, and here I want to talk to you about Dowsey's newest video, Survivors. I'm not your friend. Um, I've seen a lot of people, specifically in my circle, talk about this video about how it kind of sends a bad message, like a message of toxicity, right, between survivors and killers. And honestly, I disagree. I think that Dowsey was kind of spot on with his assessment. If you guys haven't seen the video, I would definitely put a link in the description. Dowsey's an amazing content creator, first of all, so I think that this is a good talking point to have. So, as far as the video goes, so Dowsey was essentially making a video about how he's not a survivor's friends and how survivors have this mentality of kind of like, yo, why aren't you being nice to me? Like, why are you tunneling me off hook? Why are you slugging? You know, things that survivor players kind of feel are unfair, right? And they feel like isn't fun. And Dowsey kind of was going off the premise of, you know, that's my role. Like, you know, I'm the killer. I'm meant to kill you, which is not going to be fun. And however I do that, you know, is fine because that's my role. Your job is to do gens, and my job is to kill you. You know, simple. And to be honest, I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. I do not feel like it is the killer's job to make the game fun for survivors. I feel like that's very, very problematic, right? And the reason I say it's problematic is because when you get in that mentality, you start getting into the mentality of the survivor rule book. If you guys don't know what that is, it's a running joke in the DVD community of, if you do this, you're a trash killer, or if you do that, you're a trash killer. Essentially kind of like putting rules like don't camp, don't proxy camp, don't tunnel, don't slug. You know, just play the game really honest and fair. And if the game was completely balanced perfectly, then, you know, I would say, okay, maybe there's more of a point to that. But no, the game's not balanced perfectly. So I'm more of the mind of do what you have to do to get the win, short of face camping. Face camping is the only thing that I say is not completely something that I would ever vouch for. I don't think face camping is something that you should ever do as a killer, but that's just me. I digress. So back to the main point. As a killer player, it's not your job to ensure that Dowsey has fun. I mean, not that survivors have fun, right? It's not Dowsey's job to not slug at 5 gens with twins. Because people get mad at that. You know, people hate twins because they're like, oh, you know, they're so unfun to go against. Well, they're effective. You know, it's not fun for the killer to get gen rushed. And I wouldn't, and if a killer had that complaint of, well, survivors gen rush, and, you know, survivors use dead hard, and survivors do this, I have the same critique. You feel me? Because, you know, it's their job, right? Their job is to do the gens and to get out, and your job is to kill them. And they're gonna do the gens and get out by any means necessary. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that is just how it works. It doesn't always work like that in every single match. You know, sometimes you get gem rush, sometimes you don't get gem rush, sometimes you get slugged. It's just all luck of the draw at that point. So I feel like if you're a person who really, really, really enjoys the fun aspect of the game, right? Like you just want to get chased, and that's how you live your best life, and anything outside of getting chased 8 times a day is not fun, then by all means, please, you know, like, have fun, go get chased by the killer. But at the same time, you can't get mad, right, when the killer wants to slug you for the 4K, or where he slugs you at 5 gens, or where he tunnels you out the game because you're the best one on the team, or where he refuses to chases you because you have on object. Like, all these things are just things that come with trying to win, right? Because as a killer, man, I've had survivors clickety click with flashlights. I had survivors teabag at gates. I've had survivors do a lot of things that could be considered toxic. but I don't try to have the mentality of, well, they did this toxic thing, and it made it unfun for me, so therefore they should just stop doing it entirely. Like, no, click away, please. I'm going to kill you for it. Granted, I'm going to kill you for it, but please click away. Do your thing. Do your thing. If you want to click, cool. If you want to run Shaq infinitely and never use the palette and have me waste all of my time, cool. But at the same time, it's fair game for me to tunnel you out the game if it's too much of an issue. You know, tunneling is a legit strategy. It's not a strategy that people are fond of, but it's a legitimate strategy to get wins in a game. I think that's where people really misconstrue, right? I feel like if you just play the game for fun, if you're just a casual player, then you have one specific mindset about the game. But also, if you are a person who really enjoys winning, right? Like me, I'm very competitive, so I enjoy winning. So I'm always trying to be optimal. I'm always trying to be optimal. I'm trying to get sweaty. I'm trying to do all that. And this game's not suited for that. You know, I completely understand that that's my fault, because this game's not suited for that type of mentality. It's just not. But that's just how I am, right? I want to win. I want to be good. I want to get sweaty. I want to do all these things. So it's no wonder that I'll, you know, tunnel somebody out if they cause me too many problems, or I'll leave somebody slugged if I'm trying to get more pressure. You know, these things are just aspects of the game that you just have to deal with as the game comes along. And I feel like people really have this thing of, well, if I'm not having fun, it's messed up. You know what I'm saying? If I'm not enjoying myself, it's messed up. And I think that does not help you in any situation at all. You know, like I think that's very problematic behavior. Like I don't know. I think that's kind of messed up to be like, okay, well, I'm not having fun, so oh GG's, the game isn't fun anymore because I'm not having fun. Like, no. You know, and I know a lot of people's criticism of Dowsey's opinion was that it promotes this toxic mentality, right? This us versus them mentality. But my counterpoint is, isn't that the point of the game? You know, like survivors versus killers, like we're on two separate teams. That doesn't mean that, you know, just because you're a survivor, just because I'm a killer, doesn't mean that I should not get along with you. That I agree with, but we're on two separate teams, so of course, you know, we're not going to always agree on the correct path. But I do feel like, you know, we should try to promote people playing the way they want to play, you know, without resorting to like insulting them or like trying to call them a jerk just because they slugged you, or, you know, you got tunneled or things like that. Like, yeah, it's not fun, you know, but things you do are also not fun. Like getting hit by a pallet 4 times over is not fun. Like, I should be the first person to know it's not fun, you know. Like getting one down and having 4 gens pop, it's not fun. It's just not. But I think people really don't look at it from that aspect. They think of themselves when they really think about it. They be like, oh, well, I'm not having fun, so therefore you're not doing right? And when people use this argument, they be like, well, I've seen good killers don't need it. Good killers didn't do this. Good killers didn't do that. And that confuses me, because I'm like, well, each match is different. That same killer could have played exactly like this. You know, like a lot of killers, just because killer A didn't do that doesn't mean that killer B is going to do that. You know what I mean? And killer A is not in the exact scenario that killer B was in. You get what I'm saying? Like, there's legitimate strategies to win, and just because you don't like said strategy doesn't mean that, you know, it's not usable. Like, personally, I hate keys, and people like to play around keys quite a lot. You know, people like to be like, okay, well, I got a key, I'm just gonna play for hatch. And I think like that is like some of the most unskilled things you can do for yourself. Like, I hate keys, but Am I going to insult somebody for having a key? Okay, maybe just a little bit, maybe just a little bit. Maybe I'll be a hypocrite just a little bit. But you know, I'm not going to be like, oh, this person's like awful at the game, or this person's a terrible person because they brought a key. You get what I'm saying? Like, oh, you don't deserve to have a say in the game because you, madam or sir, have a key. Like, I don't think that's a fair comparison. I don't think it's fair at all. So I think Dowsey was completely justified in his video. You know, he's not a survivor's friend, and I think that's honestly the way it should be. You know, he's a killer. His job is to kill, and you're the survivor. Your job is to survive. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like an any means necessary type things. Now, until the game is more balanced, the way that you do that is going to change, right? Like the way that you kind of kill and survive may not be the most fun way. Like the most optimal way of doing it may not be the most fun way, but it's the way that we have at the moment, right? But that's all I gotta say about it. Like, to be honest, it's a pretty interesting topic because people have very varying opinions on it. Like, if you're a survivor main, usually you would say, okay, well, you know, if I'm getting tunneled or slugged, like, this isn't fun, you know, you're trash, etc., etc. I don't think that's the case. But if you're a killer main and you say, hey, you're a survivor and you're gen rushing me, like, that's not fun, you're dropping pallets from my head, that's not fun, and you try to crap on them for that, I don't feel like that's fair either, because that's literally what they're made to do. You get what I'm saying? But yeah, I think that's the interesting point about it. I think not a lot of people try to have empathy for the other side about basically what they're going to be doing or what their objective is. But that's just me. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. I feel like it's a really good talking point to have, and I always appreciate your opinions. So please comment your opinions below about what you think about it. Are you a survivor main? Are you a killer main? Do you agree with what I said? Do you think that it's the killer's job to make sure the survivors have fun too, or the survivor's job to make killers have fun? Or do you agree with Dowsey that it's not his job? All right, guys.
Thrills, but don't you look down on me. Don't look down, don't look down. All you really see is people want you on the ground. Don't look down, don't look down. People wanna get you on lockdown. Don't look down, don't look down. All you really see is people want you on the ground.
Yeah, my name is K. Got a new paddock, the diamond.